Hey,
Hey,
John.
check it out.
Hey, dad jokes. Yeah.
I found my beer.
You drink enough of those, you'll tell a lot of dad jokes.
Even a half of one of these. These are crazy. It's like,
Yeah, those are good.
yeah, they're expensive too. They put the it's like right on there. That's great. $3.29 from my local alcohol station, half
Yeah,
a
you've
block away.
you've probably broke a half a dozen state and local laws putting that online, you know, advertising alcohol without a license kind of thing.
Well, now that you mention it, maybe so. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever. It's not beer.
I
It's Kool-Aid for
it's
adults.
Kool-Aid. Yeah. Hey, you think anyone out there would have a pouch, a package for juice for adults, like the juice bags?
Yes, it's wine. Have you ever, yeah,
It's,
yeah. Wine,
I'm sure,
wine in a bag, wine in a box,
well,
wine in a box.
well,
Best stuff.
actually, since we're coffee, I had seen, in fact, it's our guest today, kind of letting the
Oh,
cat out of the bag a little bit for
okay.
you, but I had seen this, I don't know, it's anaerobic bag, a sealed bag, like a juice box bag kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
with coffee in it. And I thought that cold coffee, cold brew is
Oh, nice.
awesome.
And I also looked on this website. They also do for storage of green coffee, I believe. So
Really
we might be talking about that tonight too. And we're going to be talking
awesome.
about mobile apps. We're going to be talking about um, like augmented reality, perhaps, maybe. I don't know if they still do that. We're going to talk
That
about Hawaii and,
oh,
and beaches. And we're going to
it's getting
talk, and we're going to
it's
talk
getting
about,
cold.
we're going to talk about our first ever media sponsor of Coffee Tech Talk Tuesday. And
Awesome.
it's my, if I can do this right. Yeah, hey, there it is. Roast Magazine.
I'm gonna have to
Have
scroll
you
over
ever
here.
read Roast Magazine?
I have.
Yeah, they're our media sponsor, and what they are doing for us today is exposing the wonderful knowledge of Marty Rowe and Coffee Tech Talk and myself, and we're going to and
Well, John
also
Ferguson.
bring in Savor Brands to the show today also. So
I
Savor
don't know
Brands.
if John. I don't know if you know this. That Roast Magazine is a pretty important um, element of the coffee industry
Where do you think I
because
get all my content?
well, here's the
I
deal.
just go.
There's absolutely no coffee drank until it's roasted. So how important is roasting?
Yeah, and we're gonna. Oh my gosh, we're gonna talk about Roast Magazine and also Daily Coffee News in a little bit. Because without that content, we probably wouldn't be able to do this show in the way that I thought would be sort of helpful in a sense. Because we have Savor Brands doing a lot of cool stuff.
Sure.
I think that they just announced that they're going to be doing some funding some research with the especially Coffee Association on freshness and packaging that's going to last about 2 years. But I want them to kind of
Wow.
talk about that a little bit more. So it's an exciting show about packaging. We even have videos on how to fold a bag properly. And I put that on Instagram, and it's like one of my most popular videos I ever put out there. And I'm just like, and my daughter's like, is this a joke? And I'm like, no, it's actually not a joke. It's a bag. And I'm showing
No.
people how to fold it with a tin tie. It was really fun.
Well,
So,
here's the deal. People are not born with this knowledge, so they've got to get it somewhere. So yeah,
I mean, you got to
you
fold
are.
those. I've seen people fold bags. So I'm just like, how did you come up with folding that bag so improperly? But in any case,
Yeah,
I
I'm sure I do it wrong.
there's nothing like a well-folded tin tie bag. I mean, on the shelf. It's when it's nice and tight, crispy sealed, just like you want to buy that bag of coffee. I'm serious. So Marty, what is this?
Oh,
Is this a part of an espresso machine still? Or what
yeah,
happened
it is.
here?
You've pulled the top off of a group head,
I did. Well,
and that's kind of an older machine. Partly, I can tell because of the design of it, but it's also been in service a long time to have built up a lot of minerals up in there. That's a flooded head. What they mean by flooded head is that whole voided area is saturated with water. It's part of the extension of the boiler. It's flooded with water. Well, anytime you've got water in there, you're going to have the risk of building up not just sediment, but actually minerals building up on that. That's what that is. It looks gross. It's rocks. It's, it's,
And I'm going to chime in with a question, Marty. How can you tell that you might have a flooded head like that? And then what's the process of somebody fixing it?
well, those caps should be taken off periodically and inspect that and clean it. See how that's part of a major tune-up.
And I think that maybe there's a term here, the flooded head versus fully saturated group head, right? Is that what you mean by flooded head?
Yeah,
or was there,
that is synonyms. That's
okay, it's the same thing. Because like when you have a flooded head, sometimes like when you have a brand new machine, or even when you're refilling it, you might have a little bit of air up there. So that's why you got to like screw the air release off the top of these, and then make sure they're fully saturated, right? But they get super dirty. Like how long does this usually take? And this is a pretty bad, I mean, I've seen a lot. Mostly it's green and it's a light shallow, but this one's got some diamonds and crystals in it or something. This is pretty
John,
impressive.
it really depends on how much they love that machine. And what I mean by that is how well were they treating the water that they were feeding that machine. And so a well-fed machine that's on a really, really good treatment system, you would never get to that point.
How long does it take to get to this point with water that's not the best, well treated, with no water filtration system?
You could get there in a couple of years.
Okay.
That bad.
And so
maybe a little less.
And so how do you avoid doing this? How do you avoid getting here? Is it water filtration systems then?
It is, and there's not a one size fits all. You have to test your water, find out what you're combating, find out what your levels are, and then apply the right filters.
Can I ask you though, is this dangerous to drink, or are all these minerals just basically okay?
They're in your water anyway, and quite frankly, they become, they're not migrating through there. As you pulled that off, everything was probably pretty secure, not floating around, sloughing off.
But it can clog stuff, right?
It absolutely can clog stuff.
Where does the water go from the fully saturated group head? It passes through like a little, it goes through a flow meter, right? Is that where the first water goes to?
If there is a flow meter, and every manufacturer puts their flow meters in different spots. So some flow meters are on the cold water side, well ahead of any boiler or a situation like this, in the attempt to keep those minerals from clogging that restrictor or that giggler.
Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, speaking of boilers, I was going to go to the next slide, but I don't know if you're ready to go there. Are you ready to go there?
Well, I will say, just to finish up, that any of these minerals are subject to be, breaking free, migrating around, and your brew valve is definitely past that. And there's, even if it doesn't have a giggler restrictor, there are bottlenecks in that that it can get caught in. And so that's part of a major mix. That wouldn't be your average tune-up, but that'd be a major tune-up to get those pulled apart and get that cleaned out.
Well, hey, look at this. I saw a warning on the side of an espresso machine the other day. It says consuming beverages that have been prepared in this espresso machine will expose you to lead, a chemical known to the state of California, just California, to cause birth defects or other reproductive harm. I'm assuming that California and other states are, equivalent to the same, like physiological, conditions that we are in Nebraska and Missouri.
We're all the same. We're all the same. So.
This is something I just started noticing on a couple machines, and I did a little bit of research, and mostly with Daily Coffee News. They did an article about this about a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago now. And I'd like to read up a little bit more about it. But if you know anything about this, go for it. Or not, we might table it for next week. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's research that a little bit. I am aware of it. You and I've kind of talked about it a little bit. I also know that there's millions of households out there that, before they outlawed using lead solder, that have this too. And I also know that there's no minimum or maximum level of lead. Lead isn't supposed to be something we consume, period.
Right. And I think that lead
so-
is being used in these boilers, from what I read in the article, to help it be more malleable. Because if you have stainless steel, it might crack or something like that. But if you added a little bit of lead into the copper boilers, it would be able to function, like be able to mold better.
Sure.
And
Now, one of the things
yeah,
that it could also be, John, and I want to do some research before I say something that's not true.
exactly. Yeah.
Is these, I think, are primarily the copper boilers.
Yeah.
Well,
only.
those
Yes. Yeah.
are soldered with a not a silver solder many times. It's more of a softer solder. It might be the solder itself that has this lead, but don't quote me on that. That's something I would absolutely want to look into. And I'd like to quantify, how much lead are we talking about?
Exactly. And I think that, like, if you go to Daily Coffee News, there's an article. It's great. You should, let's have everybody look at it. Just go to dailycoffeenews.com and, check out that article that was put out about a year ago. I have a really interesting burr quiz for you today, and then we're going to get to Savor brands here. Are you ready for this?
Is this a cold one?
No, this is a quiz. All right.
There's your dad joke.
Okay. What kind of burr is that?
Well,
what's the brand name?
Well, it's probably for a Mauser.
Next.
I don't.
You got it.
I don't know.
Where does this one come from?
It's just two holes.
I didn't know. I didn't know how specific that you would know that. I was looking at these burrs and I could tell that there's a certain amount of cuts and direction, and one of them, some of them go this way, some of them go that way.
Yeah, and honestly, that changes throughout the brands, but that's probably my Koenig there.
You got it. It's a K30.
Okay.
How about this one?
That's probably from a Robur. That's a.
You got it. Next one.
Conical.
What is this?
Oh, that's off of. I hear all this laughing in the background.
Right.
No, Nova Simonelli Mythos.
But what kind? It's
titanium.
Good. Next. What's this?
Oh, that's a. Well, you see those in some of the Mausers, and you also see those in a Fetco.
Nope. Keep going. It starts with the letter A.
Oh, an Anfim.
There it is. All right. Next one. What is this from? You are getting way better than I thought.
I don't know. I don't know, John. And
this is
actually some of these can jump over depending on the design. They so you're saying that's Rancilio?
Did I say that, or did you say that?
Yeah, you started to say it, and I think that's the Rancilio.
I didn't. I barely said anything. All right, all right. What is this? Now this one you should know. This one is a little different.
Well, that's for a larger grinder, like a grocery store grinder.
Right. Yep.
Bulk grinder.
Yep.
And so that is grind mat. No, grind. It's going to be a bun.
Yeah, there it is. You got it. And I don't even know what this one is.
And you're backing up again. That could be in a Mauser.
This is a Macap.
Okay, sure.
Macap. And then this one. Any difference? Can you tell?
It's the same video. It's the same screen.
La Chimbali. Chimbali? I don't know. Chimbali. Yep. And then this one. This one.
Oh.
This is a little thicker. This is kind of like that bun that you were talking about. And by the way, all these slides are from espressoparts.com, and you can get all these burr sets from espressoparts.com.
There's a little shout out.
Yeah, there you go. From Heather. Thanks, Heather, from last week. All right.
Absolutely.
This is like the bun grocery, but they are Fetco. And how would you know? They're not in your hands. You can't. Okay, so this one's a little different because you see the sides that are kind of cut.
Yeah, that's probably it's still a
I didn't think I would never get this.
Is that a Coney? Is that from a Coney?
It's a Gaggia conical grinder set.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got the Robur earlier, so I thought maybe the Coney, but
you got them all. Hey, look, and do you got these guys? Do you know who they are?
I do. We need to bring them on right now.
All right,
You
so
just-
we've got
You just drug me through a whole bunch of stuff
BS.
there.
A bunch of did you feel a little cold by the end of that one? Okay. Yeah. So Savor Brands,
Oh, that was fun.
we've got Josué and we got Marc. Either way. Marc, Josué, say hi. There you go.
Hey,
Marc,
guys.
there you go. And they're together in Hawaii, safe and sound, in a beautiful place, right? How's it going out there, man? Doing good?
Hey, there they are. I had to change screens to get to see them.
Hey, I'm gonna play this quick video. It says not found, so I guess we're not gonna do that. All right. Let's see if we can do this video.
We just need to go out. We just need to go to Hawaii. It's getting cold here.
Yeah, you guys are welcome.
It's not gonna work. We're not gonna learn how to fold a bag. So if you want to learn how to fold a bag, go to my Instagram account at Coffee Tech Talk Tuesday, and I'll post all of these videos up. But we were talking about, you know, how to fold some bags here. Hey, here we go. We got one. And so I'm weighing coffee right now. 12 grams. I'm measuring about an inch down from the top. And I took off that little seal from the tin tie. I'm opening up the bag. I'm putting coffee in the bag. I'm sealing the bag. Now I'm folding it. Now I slowed down a little bit here to kind of show you. There's one. All right, there you go. Nice. There's two. All right, there's three. Now I heard my friend Christopher, he's a 3-fold kind of guy, but I'm a 4-fold. And I like the little tight there on the back. You see how the tin tie is kind of tucked up underneath there? I think that's a really nicely folded bag. And I'm going to cut it open. And there it is. And now see, the cool thing about that is that I left enough room on the top of the tin tie, right? I sealed it, and then, you know, I was able to then cut it open. And it's a mistake that happens often.
You didn't do like I did years and years ago. I thought you just cut that whole thing off.
No.
Cut it below the tin tie.
But what do I know about bags? I want to talk about bags with Savor Brands here. So
bags are cool. So I'm glad we got these guys. Let's let them talk.
Sway, what's your title? What do you got? What's your name and in your title?
Yeah, I'm the creative director for Savor Brands. So I take care of all the branding across the entire platform and all the different multi-brands that Savor Brands have. So we make sure that we keep everything in unity according to our vision, what we're trying to accomplish.
And Marc, and what's your title?
I'm the director of coffee, so I get to travel and enjoy great coffee, meet a lot of awesome people, do some judging. I got my Q grader about a couple of years ago. I'm a Q grader, so.
Hey, join the club. Sweet. Yeah. So is Marty. Marty, you're still a Q grader, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, we need to hang out sometime in Hawaii within the next couple of weeks. I'll get my COVID itinerary done, and I'll get a vaccine and all that good stuff, and wear a mask and a bodysuit and a bubble or something. But well, that's so you guys are in Hawaii right now.
Yep, on the island of Hawaii.
And so I'm assuming it's kind of a little earlier there. The whole reason why the show is at 7 o'clock is because Madeline, I believe. Yeah. She lives out there, and I was like, hey, if you get 5 people watch the show from Hawaii or something like that, we'll do it at 7, and she did or something. So yeah, there you go. Thank her for being on the show.
3 p.m. 3:20.
How did you guys set up shop in Hawaii? Was it just kind of was it a company that started there? Or did you say like, I would like to just live in Hawaii, so we're going to move the company there?
No, the owners are originally from here. So Pat and Neil, they decided to establish the company here after many years of like being in Hong Kong and then developing some business there. They move up here and establish the company here.
And so I see this word when I'm on your website at savorbrands.com, Pono. What does Pono mean? And why is that? Why do I see it everywhere? It's kind of I love the name. I was like, yeah.
Well, Pono is a Hawaiian word, which means do the right thing. It is the main core value of Savor Brands. That's what we live by. It's a very powerful word for the Hawaiian culture. and we take it in, and it's our main value, making sure that everything we do, it has to be right, it has to be correct towards our customers and towards our work family.
I couldn't even fit the amount of different types of roasters that are using your services in this slideshow. And I didn't even, Marty, have you seen how many different types of bags that they have? I even believe there's a couple in Kansas City that use your services. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So we were in Kansas City, I think last year for U.S. Coffee Championships. Messenger, we got to visit. So yeah, they do really good work.
Love those bags. I love those bags. I even got a little mirror mug in a bag. It's great marketing stuff. So yeah, what kind of bags did they have? Is it a zip or tin or like what's yeah?
Stand-up pouches. We do some cloth seal box bottoms, and I believe we do their 5-pound. I think the side gusset. Yeah.
And so this bag, I swear a couple of years ago I was at an SCA, maybe it was in Nashville or something like that. But someone came up with their phone and they were like, "Hey, check this out." And they took a picture of the bag, and it started like being like a 3-dimensional dragon.
Yes.
Is this the same company? Because I'm not quite sure. Is it you guys? Did you guys do that?
It's this guy right here. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. I love that. And then what got you to thinking that was? I mean, that was pretty clever. It was fun. Is that popular? Are people using that?
Well, the idea came out. We wanted to push, as a Savor brand, we tried to always push the limits and try to do something different. And augmented reality is something that we wanted to explore and how we could use in packaging to create an edge, to create something that it will grab the customer's attention, the end consumer's attention, and generate, at the end of the day, generate more profit sales for our partners or customers. So that's how it came out, the idea, and then we start implemented in the packaging, and we developed a few of these interactions for packaging, and we're in the process still to keep doing it.
And so I know that like yeah, Marty.
No, I was going to say packaging and marketing is really an art form, and it's really kind of cool for me. I'll go into different grocery stores that have, maybe a half a dozen to a dozen different brands of coffees that they represent, and the bag or the packaging really allows one to stand out a lot over the other. And it might just be how secure it looks. It may just be the shape of the bag, that it looks really like that bag you folded, John.
Yeah.
I know you were joking around how cute it was and
yeah,
stuff,
no,
but when you line up all those little soldiers up there and they fill up a display, just the uniformity itself might catch their eye.
And Mark, you might like this one. I was up working at Dogwood a long time ago up in Minneapolis, and I had we did like a little it was called a Magic Science Night, where I was doing this cupping thing and what I did was I was thinking about bags and branding, and that was it, just branding, not bag integrity. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but it was I took the exact same coffee and I made a Chemex, and I brewed 4 different sets. It's been so long, I don't remember how many it was. Some of this is, I'm just making some of this up, but some of it's true. So just believe half of it and what you want. But like, there's like, I poured out the Chemex into the exact same set of cups, and I put them in front of 4 different bags. I put one bag in front of this brand that was from Costa Rica. It looked, sort of like artwork from the late 90s. And then I put up another really, nationally well-known 3rd wave coffee brand at that time. And then I put in another local one, and then I put one like a craft bag, and I gave everybody cupping sheets, and I said, okay, go at it, go for it. What is your impression of these coffees? And nobody came back with a score for all of the same. They're all like, none of them thought it was all 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. Everybody scored them differently. They wanted to find some different variation, except for one person. I think I forgot who it was. Might be a man or woman. I don't remember. But they came up to me and they said, "Hey, John, I'm sorry, but I just can't tell the difference. They all taste the same to me." And I'm like, well, then write that down. You know, trust your instinct.
So was
right?
it all the same
And
coffee then?
yeah, it was all out of the
Oh,
same
okay, gotcha,
Chemex.
gotcha.
It all brewed exactly the same time. But the thing was, though, everything matters when it comes to a bag, and you know, there's nothing more. I mean, the only thing that's more important than the bag is the way the coffee tastes. But at times, even the bag itself can define how you experience that coffee in that bag. But one thing about bags, though, is zero waste. I mean, we're talking plastic here, and plastic is an issue. So I see that you're working with TerraCycle. How long have you been with them, and what is that program like? I'm pretty familiar with them, and what is that about?
So we understand too that our packaging does create waste, but we like Josué said, Pono is a huge part, our foundation of our culture here. We've actually been developing our own zero waste program. So I don't know if we wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, we are developing actually our own boxes for our program. Is a new future program that we're about to launch. And then we recycle them and make them into little pieces that we can create concrete bricks, benches, anything basically. Eventually, we want to create a program we can build something for farms down in South Central America, and help out those communities.
Funny you brought that up. I've had conversations with certain people about the same thing, and we were kind of digging into like those types of projects. Like, could you make PVC pipes to? And I'm gonna give it away. I don't know. It just needs to happen. But like, raised beds out of like recycled plastic bags. Because once those bags get recycled, they become into a malleable form. But there's a certain amount of content that they need to mix it with. So the percentages and the cost are a little of a challenging conversation. But it is something that's really awesome that you guys are doing, taking that extra effort. And I think that hopefully this takes off for you. Have you had a response from it before? People participating?
Yeah, we had an excellent response with our initial zero waste program, and now with the Upload R, we're gonna take it to the next level, which is kind of like describing it. We're building these materials out of these bags that they can serve as drainage, for construction. If you want to create like a patio, you can put these materials and it will help out. So we can create so many materials, and eventually, like I said, create bricks or something like that to help community.
And I think that you guys have a new coffee bag out, or you're talking about compostability or something like that. Is that kind of coming down the pipeline as far as the product availability?
Yeah. So our R+R program that Josué just mentioned is for bags like that have the polyfoil barrier, things like that. We do have a compostable lineup, Compost Plus, coming out. So it's an 100% industrial compostable packaging. And when we travel and attend Expo and shows, a lot of folks ask us, about providing a solution to that kind of thing. So it's been a few years. We've combed the entire planet, finding each individual layer and how to make that work. So we're at a point where we're ready to launch, and we're really excited for it. So.
Hey, when you're ready, send me a sample. I want one. Seriously, I'd love to check them out. I've got people who might want them. But what is this about? It's a great photograph too.
That's him. Josué and I recently attended a sensory summit, and part of the experience or the kit is we provided these stand-up pouches for all the attendees, and 5D is our digital line. So our bags, we print a rotogravure print style. So all our artwork are etched onto these copper cylinders or plates, as they call it. But for our customers that can't quite meet our minimums for rotogravure, digital is a good solution and good option. So that's what Savor 5D digital is.
What's your minimum usually for the other types of bags? Are we talking 500 or 10,000 or?
Yeah, so for a rotogravure, it starts at 10,000. For 5D, it's 2,500.
Oh, so 2,500. Okay, that's pretty significant.
Wow, yeah, that's,
Yeah. And so this was the bag that I think that you had sent in an email that you were talking about. This is a sample of that compostable bag that's coming.
Yeah, that's right. That's compostable plus. That's the material. Yeah. So we can create custom bags with that material, and at the same time, we're gonna have a line of stock bags. If you guys,
And so on the top, it says SCA and Savor Brands partner on a 2-year research about packaging and flavor perception. This came from the SCA on November 12th, 2020. So this is brand new. This is like just announced. I feel like we're the first special guests that you have to announce this to the world. And let's use this and get this out there. And hopefully more people will learn about this. And before we go a little bit into that,
I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
That compostable bag that was white displayed there, and I may have missed it. Is that a printable bag too? In other words, graphics able to go on that?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Excellent.
You can make it custom, or you can make it. We will have a stock, a Compost Plus line of a stock bags, but at the same time, if you want the material itself, you want to customize it, we redesign it possible.
So you could make a fat wide bag that would stand out, or
All
something
custom
like
shape.
that with that material. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So some of this packaging and flavor perception and a 2-year research really got me to thinking, like, what kind of research has been done in the past with this? And I don't know. I haven't really kept up on it too much. And I'm not like a packaging. I'm a jack of all trade in in the coffee world. Like, I'm not really good at anything. I'm just kind of good at everything, but not really good at anything. I don't know. But what I do is I keep every one of these magazines. This one is Roast Magazine from July of 2007. I have got a basement full of I mean, the archives are deep. I mean, I've got Fresh Cup, I've got Barista Magazine, but Roast Magazine is the one that I read and read again. And then they came out with a book that they took all the articles out of, and they made a book out of that. And I bought that book and I read the articles again curated the way that they wanted it to be read. And I was like, oh my God, I am way too much of a Roast Magazine coffee geek. But this was the article in 2007. They came out with this really cool article, and some people have told me I'm talking too much during these shows, but this one, I got to talk about this one. This one is it's a roast buster about written by Kathy Zolman. It's called Fridge, Freezer, Cupboard, Bean Storage Comparison. And basically what this is about is that she really wanted to find out what the best way to store coffee was. And so she did a little experiment on her own. She claims it's not scientific, and yeah, it kind of looks like it's not, because there's only 1 or 2 control samples. You need 31 or something like whatever, I don't know. But anyway, she had a group 1, group 2, and group 3. Group 1 was the freezer. Let me see if I got this going on here. There it is, Roast Magazine. Oh, we're going to talk about that. So this is the article. Check it out. Google it. Buy this back issue. But so
I'm just going to call you.
Or yeah, just call me, and you can. I'll get you the information on this. But group 1 was in the freezer, group 2 was in the fridge, and group 3 was in the cupboard. And each one of those groups, what she did was put the same roasted coffee into 4 different types of containers. One was a foil with valve, glass jar, plasticware, and then crap bag with a tin tie. And so all of that was in the cupboard, all of that was in the freezer, all of that was in the fridge for 1 month, only 30 days. And I'm impressed that you guys are doing this for 2 years. So that's a little bit more valuable for you. So anyway, the coffees that were reviewed and ranked overall for the characteristics were for her in this manner. The freezer in plasticware. So basically like Tupperware with a lid. Freezer had the most retention of flavors like fruit and acidity and all that stuff. And then the second one was the foil with the valve in the freezer, and then a glass jar in the freezer, and then foil with valve on the cupboard, and then foil and valve with the refrigerator. And then she kind of wraps up the article saying like, but just buy enough coffee to last you 2 weeks, just drink it. But that's not how the world works, man.
That's my style.
But
you're right.
And then you got the people who are, you know, buying 5 pounds, going to, you know, the big box store, and they want to store it for, you know, 6 months. They're like, John, how do you store it? And I'm like, well, I mean, if you're going to buy that much, because I read it in Roast Magazine once, like 10 years, more than 10 years ago, you know, you might as well freeze your coffee. And I know there's a huge argument behind that. How do you guys feel about froze coffee? Marty, what do you think?
Well, I want to hear what Mark and how do you say your name? Jose? Will that work? Josué. How their study, a 2-year study, how that actually would kind of differ. So, and that probably
exactly.
would answer. I'd rather listen than.
Yeah. So what are you studying? Yeah. What's the objective after 2 years?
Yeah, so the objective is the more of the exterior of the bag. So you know, kind of what you're talking about with the article that you just showed. You know, have the coffee freshness guide that the SCA published, and very similar, you know, data that the poly foil barrier bags actually had the highest score. But what our research, our partnership with the SCA on this research is actually how printed bags affect flavor perception. So Sensory Summit last week, they announced the research, I think on the first day of Sensory Summit. And we actually, one of the session involved these 2 bags, brown and red.
Excellent. The red one won, B1.
So kind of like what your story about, you did the same coffee, but with different bags.
I see. Okay, nice.
So, because of the brown bag, people were picking up more roasty chocolate cacao notes. And then with the red bag, a lot of red fruit, things like that, even though both coffees were exactly the same at the end. So this 2-year project is gonna be global. So right now we're in the process of finding the researchers to conduct this study. It'll be done all over the world. So Josué is going to be busy designing bags based off their criteria. And then, you know, we're going to see what the findings are and in terms of, you know, bag size, textures, colors, graphics, you know, all things like that.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I took a couple courses in anthropology. I know anthropology, like what's that? But physical anthropology and physiology, and a little bit of research on like the perception of flavor and how people use, you know, their different senses, and not only the way that they actually the taste, but also the textile, the feel, and then also the visual aspect. And I read this in a couple of research articles, and I could share them with you later. But like red, it represents ripeness and fruit, and that it's ready for picking, which usually means and leads to sweetness. Where green and yellow lack that sugar development, just like on a coffee cherry tree. When it's red or when it's green, it usually has more bitters. And so we've over time evolved to visualize those colors in that way of sort of like a green bag would be a little bit more, perhaps a little underdeveloped. But that's just me speculating. So I can't wait to hear more about this. When do you see that? How is this going to be executed?
And that's kind of what we're still working through right now. So Sensory Summit US was the initial announcement. I know Sensory Summit for the in Europe will be in February, I believe, and I think that we'll have more to announce. So you know, we're working with you know, Peter Giuliano at the Coffee Science Foundation and his team. So
yeah, Fabiana too,
and Dr. Fabiana Carvalho, she did the sensory session. So yeah, a lot of great minds are working on this. You know, for Savor Brands, this was our second Sensory Summit that we got to attend. And you know, one of the things that I got from my first time attending was, you know, why not, you know, do something related to packaging? So, you know, it's nice to see it come around full circle, and you know, real excited that the SCA thought about us to, you know, to be their partner in this project.
And so have you already seen the research or about like the packaging integrity itself, as far as like sealing and like a lot of people ask me, or Marty, you probably heard this too, like, you know, how long is this coffee good for? You know, how do you answer that? Like if anybody ever calls you, I don't know if they would or do, but like
we've all got horror stories on that too.
Yeah. So how long is Oh, and I've got a great story too, but I'll save that to fill time at the end. But like, how long is coffee good for, in your opinion?
Well, we actually did like kind of an unintentional experiment. Because of the pandemic, unfortunately, Expo, we didn't have Expo this year. And what we normally do at Expo is we have our booth, and we and the team, they curate, the best design bags throughout the calendar year. And we reach out to these roasters and we ask them, can you guys send us some bags, or we actually buy coffee from them. So we had hundreds of bags at our office here waiting to go to Portland. And, we couldn't use them. So what we did was we actually started drinking them. And, some of the roast dates were January and February. And, I must say the bags with the aluminum barrier still tasted really good in November. So we didn't do any formal coffee explorers or anything, but I must say the coffee still tastes pretty delicious.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Marty, you've probably seen this too, that you see some expiration dates a year from roast date.
Oh,
and
yeah.
sometimes 6 months on the shelf, but that requires a couple additional steps, such as nitrogen flushing, perhaps. And
Sure.
I'm an advocate for that. I didn't think that was a real, that actually make an impact, but it really does kind of help the shelf stability. But you need that foil lining or something that is very solid in order to retain that impermeable oxygen, barrier.
That's a big
Right.
word.
Which one?
Impermeable.
Impermeable? I said that?
Yeah,
Dang.
you did.
Where I pulled that out of.
I'm impressed. That's
But
great.
yeah, so I got a story
Which
about
brings
Hawaii.
me to my question.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's hear about Hawaii.
You want to hear about Hawaii real quick? Okay, it's a good one. Oh, we have time? It's like 3 minutes. It's a 3-minute conversation. All right. So I was getting coffee and cookies at my daughter's Montessori preschool. So that was about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when this incident happened. And at that time I had a roasting company called Tiva. And so I went to this little, meet and greet, like coffee and cookies. And this lady, she's kind of probably in her retirement at that point. She was like, "Oh, you roast coffee? Yeah. Have you ever been to Hawaii?" And I'm like, "No, I've never been to Hawaii. Love to go to Hawaii. I know Kona. Yeah, Kona coffee. It's the greatest." She's like, "Oh, I went there for my and actually Kona coffee is pretty good." So
I know where you're going with this.
Okay. And then so she was like, "Yeah, I went there for my honeymoon back in the early 80s." And such had a great, wonderful time. And we picked up some coffee and it was just great. And I was just digging through my closet the other day, and I found 2 bags I found the coffee that we bought in Hawaii back on our honeymoon. And it still wasn't opened. So she opened up the bags of coffee and she brewed the coffee, and she's like, "Guess what, Sean?" And I was like, "Well, what?" She's like, "It still tasted good." And I'm like, "Well, okay, all right, 20-year-old roasted coffee. That's okay." I don't know if I trust her opinion or perception about what coffee tastes like and whether or not that is good, but if you like it, it's good, period. Maybe. But so I took the other bag. She gave me another bag. She gave me the other bag of it. And I gave her
wedding. She gave you her wedding bag of coffee.
So she came into Cultiva and I was like, "I'll trade you a pound of freshly roasted coffee for the pound that you got from Hawaii," like that. So then I put that on the table, and I brewed it up and put it on the cupping table. And I had this intern. He was 19 years old, and I was like, "Hey, I got a cupping for you. I'm not gonna tell you what's going on, but you should cup these coffees." And like he cupped it, and I'm like, "So what did you think of that one?" He's like, "That kind of tastes like plastic." And I'm like, "That's interesting. Did you like?" He's like, "It's not that, not that good." It's like, okay. I was like, that coffee was roasted before you were born. And he kind of appreciated that. And so did I, because I tasted it first, made sure it was safe, and so, but yeah.
It must not have been a Savor Brands bag.
Well, I mean, if it was, it did its job. I mean, Savor that brand. Like, well, yeah.
Well, but all that brings me to a question I've got. You've mentioned, John, you've mentioned it tonight. We've mentioned it a lot. I want to know the pros and cons and how you guys feel about vents. I read an article just prior to tonight where a guy had given up in his roasting production and shipping their roasting out. He's giving up vents and had several reasons for it. I'm not a believer in his philosophy. I'm a believer in properly and high quality vents for all that. But what's your guys' philosophy? Vent, no vent?
When you mean vent, you're referring to the degassing valve on the
The
pack?
degassing, the one-way valve
Yeah.
on the typically the little round circle on bags that
Yeah,
The
allow
smell
the
port.
CO2.
It's the place where you smell the coffee, right?
Which I also saw. Now I'm talking a lot. I saw a neon sign today on Instagram. Please do not squeeze the bags.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you get.
So John, don't squeeze the bags.
Hey, you can squeeze the bags for my coffee bags. You can squeeze them all day because when you get that whiff, you're like, I want to buy that. Although
Yeah.
I don't really roast coffee right now, but I don't know. Whatever.
So Marc,
I think it's a nice
Josué,
smell port.
tell us the philosophy on your one-way.
Or what do
vent
they
valves.
do? What do they do? How they work, and why do you need one, or why don't you need one?
Yeah.
I'd be curious about that too. Yeah.
Well, speaking towards aluminum barrier packaging, it's necessary to have a one-way degassing valve on your bag. If not, the coffee will continue to degas and expand and expand and expand until the bag actually ruptures. So that's where that's just it. We won't do a bag without a degassing valve if it's aluminum barrier. If you don't have an aluminum barrier, though, I do know that people have their own points of view because light and air can actually go in and out of the bag, so the bag will actually naturally degas.
Sure.
But for us, for coffee packaging, we always have a degassing valve on our bag.
Yeah, I mean, you can package your coffee a week after it was roasted and grind it and then put it into a bag without a valve, but it would still puff up a bit. And sometimes you might even have to vacuum seal it. But you have to be very careful if you're buying a bag without a valve and you are roasting coffee and packaging it right away, because you will have it explode, and it absolutely does need that valve, but there are ways around it. I think we have a question from the sky.
Yeah,
Adrian,
question
what do we
from the
got?
sky coming in. All right, Marc, Josué, what's your philosophy then on the bag smelling and the sniffing, and squeezing out some of that
Yeah,
air?
should
Is
you
that
smell or not smell?
Is that okay?
I don't
Is
know.
it bad for the bag? Is it? I mean, what's
I
the
think-
status on that?
I think it's like a barista sniffing your espresso before he serves it to you.
Well, I mean, I'm up for it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's what the end consumer wants to do with it. So if they want to smell it, and that's a selling point for them, a lot of people it's smelling is like, I want to buy this because it smells good, and if it's gonna generate more
I
income.
can see that.
And is squeezing those bags at all in any way to like smell them a little bit, is that doing any damage to the contents inside?
I don't think it is. I do, notice at the grocery stores, like you won't see me crushing bags at the grocery store trying to pick out a coffee.
Oh, I do.
We're not
I
talking
just go
crushing here. We're just
I
talking
just
a
go
light
down and like
squeeze.
squeeze them all. I'm just gonna press them all out and just leave mine looking good, because the rest of them all look now terrible.
My philosophy is, like I read the bag, I read the label, and then I might just give a little squeeze to see what it smells like. Try to see if that it kind of validates my purchasing decision.
So without that philosophy, like everything counts when you're trying to sell your product, because with coffee, it's so many you can do before you cannot taste it. You need to the first thing you have to see is capture their eye. And you have like 1-2 seconds. So you have to make sure your packaging looks good. If they grab your packaging, then the texture comes into the picture. It has to feel different. They need to know that. And if they can smell it, they want to smell it, they might as well. They can feel like, okay, that's, it smells really good. So everything counts if you want to sell something.
And I saw some really beautiful bags that customers have done with your help. With again, I think it was on a website where they did some and Arbor Day Coffee, where we work too, where I work. We started doing this Heritage Coffee series where I think we use a similar white quad seal square bottom bag, where we wrapped it around with a letterpress paper and a little slip. And I think someone did that with Savor brands too. And it's just like next level, where it's just beautiful packaging. Will really bring out the exquisite coffee and hard work that you put into that bag. So I don't know. I think they are essentially hand in hand two of the most important aspects of like sourcing really great green coffee, roasting it really well, and then showing that you care by producing a bag that looks fantastic. I have some questions, rapid fire. It's almost at the end of the hour. I'm so glad to see you guys, but I need to come out to Hawaii to actually make this conversation work well. But anyway, what is your most frequently asked question? Is it, can I come to Hawaii?
That actually is. So when people, when we were at, competitions and events, when they find out we're from Hawaii, that's the number one question.
Okay. Besides that joke, because that's obvious, what's the other bag related frequently asked question other than traveling to Hawaii?
Probably the minimums. What's your minimums? It will be
awesome. And so what your minimum for a regular quad seal with a valve, is it 10,000 printed or?
Yeah, it is 10,000. Yeah.
Okay. But with the new digital printing, you could do a lower run.
2,500.
Okay. And then what's your turn time for delivery typically? Like if we place an order today, we get the artwork approved, back and forth. I think I have to send you a proof and then you would, lay it out and then you'd proof it back to me. Is that how that works usually?
Yeah. So our turnaround time is about 9 to 11 weeks. So that's when you get your full delivery. But as a service to our customers, what we do is we also airship. And when our clients launch a new design or a new bag, we actually airship. We cover the airship costs on us so that they can get like a case or two. Just that way they have bags a lot quicker than the 9 to 11 weeks. That way they can focus on getting their website updated, photo shoots, things like that. So those are the services that we provide. Yeah.
Hey, has COVID complicated your supply chain as far as those delivery times this year, or are you guys pretty well set up to handle those challenges?
Yeah, we're pretty well set up. So there are minor hiccups here and there, but our team, our foundation is solid. So we definitely can meet those deadlines.
And so how do you stand out from the rest? Like why should I buy bags from you? And I mean, you got to send me some samples, but yeah, I mean,
Well, we care, we care about our products, because we care about our customers. So before we launch any product, first we test it out here, we try it out, make sure that it works, it's good, and then we launch it into the market. But if anything happens to you, we're here to help you out and guide you along the way. So we just care about making sure you have an amazing product, because at the end of the day, if you're successful, then we are successful.
And Josué hit it earlier about the word Pono. That's our foundation. We honestly don't see competition out there. We just do our thing in Honolulu. So but our values is what if we were to answer that, like what stands is our values.
Marty, you asked the last two questions. Which ones you asked these last two? I've been chatting too much. I'm tired. I need to take a sit.
Well, I know that you guys provide completed bags in bulk. Have you ever done, or do you do flat roll of material that can be used in form, fill, and seal machines where they're creating the bag? Can you do the layout, the artwork, and then convert that into a roll of material?
Absolutely. In fact, Savor Brands has been around for nearly 2 decades. Within the last, I would say 6-7 years is when we decided to, expand and try our business out on the mainland. And on the mainland and nationally, we focus primarily with specialty coffee. But prior to that, we've been doing a lot of roll stock, so form and fill, that kind of stuff. So some of the big coffee companies here in Hawaii, we provide printed film for them, and then they have their machinery to form, seal, and valve the bags. So we
want to give any shout outs? Is that okay? Or no, that might be secret. I don't know. You might not want to. Might want to mention anybody. But.
So yeah, I don't want to say anything.
Right on. And so
I did have another one. Tin tie versus that zip seal. Thoughts on that? Good, bad?
No, I mean,
one
One's not better than the other. In fact, some of our customers do both. They do a zipper with a tin tie because kind of like that video that John showed earlier, they like that bag real squat, like real folded down. But then
It's the old suspenders and belt kind of thing.
Yes.
But it looks cool though. It looks
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
the opening and resealing the bag. So, it's
Okay.
a toss.
Hey, can I ask a question about the tin tie application? Do you guys typically do that on site, or do you, I mean, either way, it's just an extra added cost if you apply the tin ties or not, right? I mean, you can do it either which way.
Yeah, so most of the time, I must say though, the orders that I've seen, that we apply the tin ties at our plant, but there are instances where customers might have different types of coffee roasts, so the bag fills up a little differently between each coffee varietal. So they'll request us to just tuck the tin ties off to the side, and then their team will apply it at the roast.
Well, and I love the video that you guys posted up on how to fold a bag with a tin tie, and that inspired me to make my own challenge video. And I was going to do them side by side and say like my way is better, but mine was with the craft bag with the tie on top, so it wasn't really like a fair thing. And
I saw it, and it was like the four. I mean, I'm a three-fold guy too, but you did the four-fold. It's okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fourfold is just because of the way that it was like on top. I mean, I would have gone three. I don't know. Like, I only had one shot. It's like doing latte art. It's like you get one shot at it and you're done. It's like I could fold 20 bags and get one good one. We should have a bag folding contest. And then we can compare which ones are best. But we got to wrap this up. It's been an hour already. Do you have any exclusive news you want to share? I have 2 more slides that I think that one of the exclusive news will be that. But is there anything else other than the next 2 slides you want to talk about?
No, we can share the slides. And then
Let's get to it. What is this about? Like, I'm thinking like a mobile ordering and payment processing for. I'm just like, yeah, we'll put anything up you guys want. If it has nothing to do with bags, I don't care if you're doing like a new payment app ordering thing on the side. Go for it. Well, how does this relate to bags?
So everything started with years ago with augmented reality. How we're scanning the bag, but then we realized we need to connect it to the purchasing system. It needs to generate income for the partners. So we decided to develop our own app for coffee shops that fulfill all the needs for these coffee shops, and then link it out to the packaging within time, so the AR eventually will connect to this app in which you can scan the bag and then purchase those items. And then right now it's you can download it. It's called Pono Coffee is the app. It's available at Apple and Android. And then you can play with it, and it's a white label system in which coffee shops can put their own brand, their own products, their own colors, and it's gonna look like it belongs to them, and then they can sell the products online, or they can sell their coffee that they offer in the coffee shops, and then order ahead. We'll be adding curbside pickups to that, shipping systems, and then within a few months we'll be connected with Square for those coffee shops that have a Square as well.
Wow,
So
that's exciting news.
That's awesome. I really wish that this video was going to work, but I just don't think it's going to work. Darn it. Oh, well, I guess that's all we got for today. We're going to have some fun videos, but next time, hopefully when I see you, it'll be there in person, not here, unless you would have come to Nebraska. It's kind of a hot spot right now. COVID hot spot. Yeah, it's very cold actually here. It's chilly. That's why. Yeah, that's that.
Well,
so I guess that's
I'm
it.
sure eventually we'll get to have another SCA convention, and
Right.
We're doing this to kind of fill the gap.
Absolutely.
Get to chat with folks like you, but once we do that, it's going to be exciting. I'll be able to go to your booth and go, hey, I know you guys.
yeah.
And so again, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. My name is John Ferguson. I'm representing here today with I got to get this title right. It's a long one. This Specialty Coffee Association's U.S. chapter. I'm the North Central Regional Coordinator, and I love it because it's fun. It keeps me connected, with people, even virtually. It's as close as we can get right now. And I thank you guys for joining the show. And Marty, where are you right now? And by the way, you can get in touch with me. Just call my number 402-817-9991. You have to play that back. Okay, Marty, what do you got?
All right. Marty Rowe, I'm out of Kansas City, running Workbench Coffee Labs. We are technician training. So if you want to work on stuff, 2021, we're kind of behind the scene a little bit with COVID, but we're lining up our ducks. Look out, 2021. We're going to teach a lot of techs.
Hey, and that's where I got my Q graders last time,
Yeah.
the second time around. Mark, that's where it was. It happened in KC with and you were in our same class, right? Was it class of 2017 or 18, Marty?
It was. You renewed yours the year I got mine.
I had to take the whole thing again because I overlapped on my whole renewal, which
but that was fun, wasn't it?
it was absolutely fun. Yeah.
And Mark, how did you do? How did you feel
Mark,
about your Q grader?
So fortunately, a company I can gather. Yeah, Jody, she's awesome. She came down to Honolulu, and I was able to take it here at home. But mine expires next July, so I might have to go to Kansas City maybe to renew mine. So
I'll be there too. I need that same class. So how do we get in touch with you guys?
You can visit our website, you can contact through our website or email, Marc@savorbrands.com or Josué@savorbrands.com.
Marc with a C, and Instagram, website, our email, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's great. And your Instagram is great. And all the people that you interviewed in the past, I was like, oh, I know him, I know her. And I've seen all these people. This is great. I didn't know that the brand was so thick in the industry. And also, thanks for for doing some SCA research and investing in that. That's fascinating, and I can't wait to hear the results. And I'll be following closely. So thank you very much, and thanks everybody for joining us for another Coffee Tech Talk Tuesday. Thanks, Dietrich. Bye.
Take care.
Everyone.
If you enjoyed talking to John and Marty today and hearing about Savor Brands, make sure you like and subscribe to Coffee Tech Talk. It is very helpful for us to grow this channel, and it's been a fun journey so far. We're excited to bring on guests every week. So again, make sure you subscribe and like. And if you want to know when Marty and John, and you don't have to put it on your calendar and just want to get a notification of when John and Marty go live, all you have to do is click the little bell icon in the corner, and you'll be able to get a notification on your phone as to when Coffee Tech Talk is up. Thanks again for watching the show this week. Take it easy.